Hello everybody, I'm your host Too Elusive, and this time we are going to be looking at Sonic the Hedgehog in Smash Ultimate. Now, Sonic was a main that I played as since Brawl, so I know a lot of the character changes and differences that this character has gone through, and I will say right off the bat that he feels so much better in this game. I hated how he played in 4, and he just wasn't fun. He just wasn't fun. In this game, he's a lot fun here, but I don't want to really waste your time with the history lesson. Let's get right on this and talk about the character itself and how you actually play him in this game. So first, I want to start by going into his moveset. You have his jab, which is the basic 2-piece in a biscuit. There's really nothing special there. It does 9 damage a pop as a whole if you hit him with all 3 of the moves. And it's just used to get people away from you, honestly, which is sort of what you want to do with this character in some sense with how he's played, and I'll get into more of that later on. Next, I want to talk about his tilts, starting with his forward tilt. His forward tilt is an excellent poke tool. It's one of his most safest options to use when you're playing the neutral, and if you happen to hit them with the forward tilt when you're in their face, it hits twice and does 13 damage a pop. It also has increased knockback compared to the previous games, so you can use this to get your opponent off stage, get them at disadvantaged state, and abuse your off stage tools to keep them off, and I'll be able to go into that later on in this video. You can also use this to be able to abuse the sliding tilt mechanic, where it's basically when you're dashing and you increase the momentum of your tilt attacks using your dash, rather than using the regular version of it where you aren't really moving too much anywhere. You're just letting your control stick set back to neutral. There's a video that goes in further depth into that, so if you want to learn how to do that properly and abuse the character with that, then I would definitely suggest watching that video. I'm pretty sure it's under Beefy Smash Dudes if I'm not mistaken. Next up we have his down tilt. Now I love Sonic's down tilt in this game, and you can instantly see why. In the previous games, the down tilt can either trip opponents or it would knock them away at an angle. In this game, however, it pops them up. So you could go into a number of interesting follow-ups out of down tilt, which is very, very helpful. I love his down tilt so much in this one. It also makes it a nice approach tool as well. Like, you could be dashing around, darting around, waiting for an opportunity to get in, and you can just down tilt them and go into any of his follow-ups. So it's sort of like playing Martha, Lucina, or Roy, Chrom when you're running around, and they would just down tilt you and go into any of their follow-ups. That's what you can treat this move as in this game, because it is a great combo starter. So down tilt is definitely a move you want to use a lot. Next, I want to talk about Sonic's up tilt. It's pretty much the same as it's been since Brawl in Smash 4. It can be used as a combo starter, or it can bridge your combos together. It hits twice, comes out relatively fast, and it'll always hit in front of Sonic. This move does not have a backwards hitbox, period, so definitely keep that in mind. Anyway, moving on from there, the next move I need to talk about is his dash attack. Now, Sonic's dash attack has changed from Brawl and Smash 4. In the previous game, it was a multi-hitting move where he goes into a spin ball and hits you a few times before sending you away. In this game, it's basically a standard kick whenever he dashes in. It kind of works in the same fashion as Wolf, if I had to compare it to anybody, where it hits hard and it can cross up. Doesn't hit as hard as Wolf's though. That move has a lot of knockback compared to Sonic's dash attack. But yeah, it can essentially cross up if they happen to be blocking. And one way I can show that off is by giving Mario invincibility, just to simulate him having a shield. So give me just a second to remember where the items are. Here we are. There we go. Yeah, you see how it does cross up? Like, the Starman is basically perfect for being able to test and see if certain moves can cross up or not if the opponent happens to be blocking. And this move definitely crosses up. If I remember correctly, however, it doesn't cross up if you happen to hit them at a certain distance. Like, you see that? It only crosses up at the start of the move. It doesn't cross up if you happen to be hitting him at the end of the move or in the middle of the move. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Alright, now Sonic's aerials have received a significant number of changes that overall gives him a much better neutral and offstage presence in this game. Starting with his neutral air. His neutral air is basically going to be your main bread and butter when you want to go into different combos. And the main reason for this is because whether you hit them with the hard part of his nair, the sweet spot of his nair, or the soft hit of his nair, it's always going to pop your opponent up, and it can go into a number of Sonic moves. So I'll be able to go ahead and show you some of the combos you can do out of his nair. This move is pretty nutty. So yeah, those are just some examples I can show you on how his nair is utilized in this game. Again, it is your main bread and butter. It's going to go into a lot of your move sets because it pushes the opponent up all the time across all percentages. And of course, the combos are going to vary based on the percentage that they are at. So definitely experiment with the nair combos and figure out just how much you can exploit the move, because again, it's going to be your main combo tool. Next, we have Sonic's Fair. Now, Sonic's Fair is really neat. What I love about his Fair is that, first of all, it comes out fast and it has increased knockback on top of that, making it a tool that he can use off stage. So you can use it to gimp people, snuff their jumps, and if they have really bad recoveries and they already burned their jump in the middle of trying to get back, you just have to fair them maybe once or twice, probably once at most, and they won't be able to return to the stage. It's a pretty obnoxious move that got the quality of life buff that it needed, because in previous games, you get hit by this move, I mean, it just racked up damage and that was it. It really didn't kill you, or you didn't have to worry about getting killed by this move. But here in this game, they've increased the knockback of it, which makes it a threatening move to use as a whole. It's also another move that Sonic can also combo out of as well, and it's mainly used as a combo bridge. I should also point out, however, that this move can also be used as a combo starter, and I'm going to show you some examples for this one as well. So again, just showing off a couple examples of what you can do out of fast falling your fair. The thing is, the fast fall fair works like most multi-hits in this game. If you happen to cancel the final hit of that multi-hitter, in this case Sonic's Fair, you can go into other moves that Sonic has. And beforehand you couldn't do that because it lagged no matter what hitbox you landed on. So definitely make use of this move when you can. It is probably going to be another move that you're going to be using a lot in neutral as well, simply because it comes out fast. It can instantly get your opponent in a disadvantaged state. I mean, there have been times where I've had my opponent standing, like, let's say like over here, and I've got all the stage control. All I would have to do is fair them once, get them off the map, and then go into another fair, and then go into another fair again. And chances are they probably won't be able to recover depending on their recovery. So it is a very good move to use. I absolutely love it. It needed those quality of life buffs. Next we have his up air. Now his up air has received some changes as well. I feel like his up air got nerfed in this game compared to his previous ones. The cool thing about his up air is that it's always been used as a juggling tool, and to an extent it still is a juggling tool, but it's not as much of a juggler tool as it used to be in its previous games. So, for example, in Smash 4, you could basically juggle your opponent for days with this move. You would just up throw, up air, and then up air again. But as you can see in that little combo I just did, it feels more inconsistent in this game compared to how it was in the previous games. You will be able to hit them like at least, I would say, 4 times in that combo, because both of the up air hitboxes would string together. But in this one, again, it feels a lot more inconsistent here. In fact, I'm 100% sure that your opponents can escape them a lot easier in this one because of that reasoning too. So up air juggling with Sonic in this one is definitely harder to do. Another thing I should also point out about his up air is that it's also harder to do that out of spin. You see that? It's a lot harder to do out of spin. Now I'll talk about spin dashing in a minute. I will get to that point in the video, but yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to get a spin dash combo off with his up air. And it doesn't matter which variant I use, it's a lot harder to do. Now, you can string into his up air at higher percentages, but your timing for it has to be, like, I don't want to say near perfection, but it's got a strict timing on it. So, honestly, I would not even worry about comboing. Like, see, I got it that time, but again, you have to have a certain timing in order to be able to get all of that combo together consistently. And even then, when you get it consistent with that particular percentage mark, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. So honestly, I wouldn't even worry about comboing this move out of his spin. Like, just use it as a potential up air juggler. You could probably only get one up air off, depending on the move you use, and then you would have to do something else entirely, because again, it's not a consistent juggler as it used to be. So you want to keep that in mind. One other thing that the up air can do is you can, if you fast fall the up air and get the first hitbox of it, you can scoop your opponent up and go into another move entirely, like what you just saw there. So I can give you a couple other examples you can do out of up air, out of hitting them with the first part of up air upon landing. So yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of things you would need to lab out and try to get the most out of that. What makes the move a little bit inconsistent as well is the fact that sometimes, depending on where you land that move, you could either get the second hit of the up air, which can go into other things, but that's most likely not what you want. You might end up getting the hit, but it's going to send your opponent behind you rather than keeping them in front, because in previous games, when you hit them with hit that particular spot, it only pops your opponent up a little bit. It wouldn't send them anywhere, but now it can have a higher chance of sending them behind you, so you may just have to go into a safer tilt instead. Honestly, the more consistent combo that I've gotten with that type of move is his forward tilt, and even that can be a little unreliable depending on your landing. Like, see, all those times when I did it, Mario was actually not going anywhere, but I'm pretty sure at higher percentages it would make a difference in his trajectory. Like, see right there. So at low percentages, he's probably not going to be sent anywhere as much, or I should say your opponent won't be sent anywhere as much. But honestly, your safest move out of that would be forward tilt or up tilting. Alright, next I want to talk about Sonic's dare, and his dare has gotten some interesting changes made to it. First of all, it's a lot easier to spike with his dare, and that's because the spike hitbox, I feel it lasts a little longer, making it a much more easier move to spike with. But the other hitbox that it has, where it sends your opponents up in the previous games, it comes out a little later, making it hard to use at the ceiling when you want to try and go for a ceiling kill if you happen to get your opponent up there, and you can dare them to potentially get a ceiling kill off of that. That's what you could do in the previous game. You really can't do that anymore in this one because they made those changes, and also because of a couple other factors which I will talk about when I get there. But needless to say, it's harder to get your opponent to get a kill off the top because they made it a lot easier to spike. But because it's easier to spike, that also means it's easier to dunk your opponents in this game as well. But one major change, well, two major changes I need to talk about with this move is the fact that its base landing lag has been reduced. I mean, now he's gone from taking 10 years to be able to stand up to like 5 years, but you still don't really want to get the lag ending of that move, only because you could potentially like get caught in a situation that you don't want to be in. But one of the biggest changes I definitely got to address with this move is the fact that even if you avoid the lagless landing, you're still going to get some end lag. Not as long compared to his base default one, but yeah, you're still going to get some end lag here, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Like, I would remember getting hit in tournament whenever I would do that, and I'm thinking, hey, I should instantly be able to run away and not get punished for it, but no. Doesn't matter how high you are anymore, you're going to get a bit of end lag even if you use that option. So you definitely want to keep that in mind if you plan on using that move, period. In fact, I honestly prefer not to use that move. The only way you can cancel the lag entirely is if you land with another move before landing, and even then it's a little unreliable because you're still going to have to deal with some form of end lag. So what you could do is nair on the way down to be able to just secure your landing. Like, it forces your opponent to shield, and you know, then you can like do your thing or whatever. You just got to remember to do that as you're coming down, because if you don't, you know, you could end up getting into a lot of trouble. So just a little food for thought there. Alright, next I need to talk about his bear. Now, his bear is pretty much the same as it's always been. It's always been a kill option for Sonic since Brawl. It comes out pretty fast, and it also has like almost no end lag in this one. They reduced the end lag since the previous patch that came out, but it's also very easy to auto cancel by itself anyway, and you don't have to fast fall in order to auto cancel. As long as you're not fast falling after a short hop, then you can definitely auto cancel it very easily. You can use it to send people off the stages because it has increased knockback, and also as an off-stage tool, it can be used as your main killer. So because of that, it's definitely another move that Sonic can abuse when he's off stage, along with his fair, making his off-stage presence a huge threat. And I'm definitely really grateful for that, because Sonic really needed more off-stage options in my honest opinion. Alright, so next I want to talk about Sonic's throws. His up throw is probably the one you're going to be using the most, because as you can see, it can go into practically any of Sonic's aerials. It's fast enough to get them in the air, so you can put them in that disadvantage state. Well, I should say it gives you the advantage state, so you can keep it in the air for as long as you can. But it's going to be your main go-to when you want to go ahead and just get him in an overall bad position. His down throw is mainly going to be used for tech chasing or getting them off of the map if you happen to be near the stage, because no matter what percentage they're at, they're always going to be sent at a fixed angle every time. Let's see, his forward throw got nerfed to hell. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. In Smash 4, his forward throw could kill you at around, I say, 150. Let me show you what it does when I throw you at that exact same percentage right now. You see that? Did you see that? Not only did Mario, like, not go anywhere, but, like, he didn't even go straight up like it normally would. My man is at 170 right now. I threw him at 170, and he still didn't go anywhere. Let's try it when he's at 200. Look at that. Like, his forward throw has no kill potential. Basically, put it simple like this, forward throw is like probably his worst throw. And as a matter of fact, it is his worst throw. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about his smash attacks. Now, his smash attacks are pretty much the same as they've been since Smash 4. Except there has been a couple of buffs added to them. First of all, his forward smash can still 2-frame, like it always can, and you can also angle it as well. So, and when I say 2-frame, what I mean by that is that as they're recovering, if you happen to time it correctly, you can hit them on the way up before they grab the ledge, and that's simply because the hitbox goes beyond the ledge itself. So you can still 2-frame with this move. It's very, very useful to learn how to do. It's also really easy to execute as well. It just comes down to timing, and that's all it really is to it. His down smash has gotten stronger. It has higher knockback. And if I'm not mistaken, it does like 14 damage apiece, as we saw there. His forward smash doing 16. My bad for not showing that off earlier. The down throw you mainly want to use to just cover certain options where you know your opponent is, where your opponent's going to be. Then you have his up throw. Damn, did I just say up throw? I meant to say up smash. His up smash has gotten a lot better in this one. It's been given higher knockback, given higher damage output. You can now use it as a kill option. Before, in previous Smash titles, especially in Brawl, you would never use Sonic's up smash. It was just that bad. But here, they've given it the quality of life buff. It now has the ability to kill everybody. Now what you've been waiting for, the special moves. Sonic's special moves has received a significant number of changes as well that makes him less obnoxious and less campy. Well, giving him a better neutral game already made him less campy, but neutering the way his spin dash worked in this title definitely emphasized how he should have been played in the previous title. So to start things off, let's take a look at his spin dashes. I'm going to talk about those first because I'm pretty sure that's what you want to know about the most. First off, his side B kind of works the same. There really isn't too much change after that. His little hop in the beginning still has the invincibility frame that it had in Smash 4, so that's remained unchanged. And he can also still spin shot after it. So you can use this as a means to recover back on the stage if you need a little bit of a boost to be able to get back on. It's been something he's been able to do since Brawl. So you can still spin shot out of your side B. But one other change they made to a side B is, first of all, you can't cancel into shield anymore. Second, when he reaches that yellow aura, it doesn't do a little hop anymore, and it comes over a lot faster. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. And third, even though you can jump, one thing you want to know is that your side B will auto fire after a couple of frames. Like, I literally just held it down for as long as I could, didn't release it at all, and it'll auto fire. So they wanted to make sure that you commit to this move whenever you use it. So that's the changes they've made to your side B. Your down B, on the other hand, your down B, you can basically charge as long as you want, but like your side B, eventually you're going to auto fire. You also can't really spin shot out of your down B as easily as you could compared to your side B. I just found your side B a lot easier to spin charge out of. You probably can spin charge out of down B, but it's just a lot easier to do it out of side B in my personal opinion, which is what I generally do. But one other change they've made to the down B variant is that it's a lot harder to combo out of. Like, at higher percentages, you could literally forget about comboing into this move. Like, you see that? Like, it's extremely hard to combo after this move out of, out of side B. I mean, not side B, out of your down B variant, if you happen to be at higher percentages. Your side B is easier to combo out of, but it is a little inconsistent here as well, and that's mainly because you got to make sure that you get all of the hitboxes that matter in order to combo into it. And the main reason for that is because when you get the launch hitbox of your side B, it knocks them away all the time. Like, if you just hit them on the ground, it doesn't send them anywhere. as you can see. But if you hit them with the second part of the side B as it's like launch, you see that it knocks Mario away. It's always going to knock him away, which means this move is a lot harder to combo out of your up air. Now, I got it that time, but believe me when I say that it is definitely very inconsistent and very hard to do. Like, you have to have excellent timing to be able to do it. Like, beforehand in Smash 4, you could just do it and it'll always connect, like, every time. In fact, I'm doing the exact same timing you would do in 4. In Ultimate, I feel you either have to wait a little bit before it connects, or you would have to do it as soon as it connects. I haven't fully got the timing down for it myself, but it is really hard to do out of up air. So if you want to do your side B combos, your best bet is to either forward air, you can neutral, but you got to do it immediately. Like, you can do it out of neutral too, but like I said, you have to do it immediately. Or you can do a homing attack instead. But even that can be a little hard to do at times, unless you hit them with the first hit of your side B and not the second part. Because if you let the second part connect, your homing attack might not connect. But honestly, at low percentages, you should be fairing or nairing to be able to get the most out of your spin. Alright, next we have his up B. His up B has gained some changes as well. First off, his up B takes a little longer to be able to act out of his up B by comparison to Smash 4. So it makes combo strings out of up B a little harder to do. So one thing you would generally do when you're like at a high enough percentage with your opponent is that you would probably up throw them into a number of Sonic's confirms. Like up throw, spring, up air still works. Well, I'm sorry. Up throw, spring, nair still works. Doesn't really work all that well with up air, however. In fact, that move is overall much harder to combo with, and that's just because you can't act out of up B as quickly as you could in Smash 4. So you're literally better off just spring nairing instead. If you're only going to get one hit, get the one hit that matters. Or you can spring and fair. That's also another reliable follow-up you can do. But spring and up air, nada. You're not able to do it. And if you try to do it at lower percentages, you're not going to be able to connect at all. Like, literally at all. See, not even your nair is reliable at lower percentages. See? So, it's really hard to combo out of your spring now because of the changes that were made to it. Another thing I should also point out with spring is that because of that change that was made to your dare, where you will get a bit of landing lag even if you spring out and dare immediately, you can't go into certain combos that you were able to go to in Smash 4, like being able to hit them with the spring, come down with dare, hit them with smash attack, or jab lock them. You can't do any of that in this game. Lastly, the last move I need to talk about is his homing attack. Now, his homing attack has gotten the quality of life buff. This is a move that people now have to respect because there's a lot of things you can do out of this homing attack. It can be a potential combo starter, a combo bridge, or a combo finisher, and it can also be a kill move. So here's some examples of some homing attack combos. So one of the things you can also do with Sonic's homing attack is that you can also pressure shields with it a little bit. Because Sonic bounces off of shield immediately after hitting them, he can act right after the bounce. Before, he couldn't really do that all that much. You could basically hit him and come down with Nair if they try to do anything, or Fair again if they try to do anything. And because it's the combo version of Fair where you get them before the final hit ends, you can go into another one of Sonic's moves. You can like do, you know, stuff like that if you really wanted to. The only thing you can't do out of homing attack is go into another homing attack. That would be pretty stupid if you could. Like, mad nutty if you could. But no, you can't do that. So that's something else that you got to remember. But homing attack is a pretty dumb move. Another cool thing you can do with homing attack is that you can bait it out. Like, you could delay how long you want the homing attack to be. And the scary part about delaying the homing attack, you saw that damage output from delaying it, right? As opposed to just letting it fly. Depending on how long you charge it up, you could do between 8% of damage to 24% of damage. And of course, the more you delay it, the harder the knockback is too, which can also lead into kill confirms. And yes, this also adds to Sonic's offstage presence. The homing attack can kill you if you happen to get the hitbox that matters for it. The only downer with homing attack is that it's still really risky to use when you're offstage because of the fact that it does that. It can send you straight down and to your doom. So when you're using homing attack, just bear those little notes in mind that it can potentially lead you to your doom if you're not careful. Also, this is just a little thing that I like personally, the fact that they added the little reticle that appears when you homing attack somebody. That's a really nice touch. But anyway, guys, I feel that this video has gone long enough. As much as I want to be able to talk about Sonic's neutral, I feel like I should do that in a separate video altogether. So next time we get in on this, we'll talk about the neutral for Sonic, how he plays, and then we'll be able to get a couple of demonstration matches in there as well. So, guys, I am too elusive, and as always, play until your thumbs fall off. Peace out, everybody.
Sonic, spit, 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 Sonic.